So today what we'd like to focus on is violations of the hands-free law. So probably more generally, people with their phone in their hand. That's the most prominent. What I'd like to do today is to enforce the law. We do have our discretion to use whether or not to write a citation or a warning. But what I'll do is I'll try to educate people, and hopefully if I educate them on the law, they'll comply with it in the future, and I think a warning will do the job. So there's no grace period. So the law is enforceable, and citations can be issued starting today. But we hope that people will adjust. The violation of the hands-free law is probable cause for a traffic stop. So if we do see that somebody's violating the hands-free law and it leads to something else, whether it's a warrant for an arrest or a suspended license or a DUI, all of that can be initiated from the violation of the hands-free law. I wouldn't say that it's more work, but it's essentially it's going to keep people safe. So we're happy to do it. This law is going to hopefully reduce crashes, and if we can take a part in that and help people comply with the law and keep people safe, we're glad to do it. We have received updates and things as far as how to enforce the law and making sure that we know what we're looking for. And so I would say that we've received training for that. At the very minimum, we've been educated on ourselves on how to enforce law and what has changed from before today. Absolutely. Before we stop anybody, we'll make sure that they are indeed violating the law, and then at that point conduct a traffic stop. But we'll definitely use observation to try and determine whether somebody's, like you said, touching their face or has something in their hand other than a phone, or a device that's subject to the law. But of course, if they do have their phone or that electronic device that they're not supposed to have, then we'll do a traffic stop. I hope that it reduces the amount of crashes that we see, and I'm definitely happy to see it pass, because I think it is going to help reduce those injuries and fatalities that occur each year as a result of distracted.
They said no, it wasn't true. I didn't touch my cell phone.
Yeah,
what you can do?
Certainly, they could still receive a citation. And then if they chose to go to court, they could do that. They would have, everyone's afforded the opportunity to be able to pay the citation or to go to court and contest the citation. But of course, I won't conduct a traffic stop unless they actually are on their cell phone. They can't see me as they come around the corner, so definitely will likely be somebody with their phone in their hand or sending a text or something with still having the phone in their hand and supporting it with their body.
Did you see somebody driving with their phone?
Yeah, just a minute ago we saw one.
Exactly, a warning.
A warning is a documented contact between law enforcement and a violator, but it does not affect their license. It doesn't put any points on their driver's license. It's just a documented conversation or documented traffic stop, and with a specific violation listed, and we just keep that in our database.
What about the second warning?
That there's not any sort of consequences for warnings at all, regardless of how many. But of course, if we see that somebody has received a warning previously, we likely would write them a citation because it was clear that they did not get in compliance with the law. I am going to give you a warning on the violation of the hands-free law. Okay. There's a reason why I stopped you, and that was the reason for it. And the reason for the law is to just keep you safe. Okay. Here, I printed it out for you.
And that just went into effect today?
It is in effect today, yes, ma'am. Okay. So from this point forward, you can't say you didn't know. Okay. It just makes you read over that. It is a long code section, but it's really not too complicated. Okay. Anytime you're doing anything inside your vehicle, you can't do any action that's going to cause you to be distracted. Okay, so whatever you're doing, if it's a distraction for you, it's causing you to violate other traffic laws, it's a violation of that code section, and you could get stopped for it. Okay. A second thing, or the other four things are: number one, you can't support the phone with your body.
Okay.
Number two, you can't read, write, or send anything text-based anymore. Okay. The only way you can do that is you can send a message if you do it through your voice and text. Yep. You can't watch a video, and you can't do anything broadcast live like Facebook Live or anything like that. So one of the indicators that we'll see that somebody may be on their phone is if the traffic light turns green and they're still sitting there at a green light when other traffic has moved forward. Of course, there could be other factors there, but it's definitely a possible indicator of distraction. Another thing that we'll see is actually people failing to maintain their lane. Is again another behavior that's associated with distracted driving. As long as my phone stays there,
Right there.
yep, I can use voice commands to initiate a phone call.
Just voice command. You can
No.
touch your phone.
You can only touch your phone just to initiate the call, and that's all. You can't be reading or writing or sending anything that's text based. So you can dial a number as long as your phone is supported. The reason for that is basically it's still going to be a distraction for you. If you have the phone in your hand, your eyes are kind of down, as opposed to if you had it mounted up somewhere, you'd be able to see a little better and could do that without being distracted.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know that, sorry.
But that's why I stopped you. As long as everything checks out, I'm going to give you a warning today, and I'll make sure you understand the law, and then we'll go from there, okay? Just hang tight, I'll be right back with you. The reason why I stopped you for today is because you were using your phone while you're driving. What were you doing on your phone?
FaceTime.
Okay, that's going to be a violation of law. So are you familiar with the hands-free law?
No.
Okay, so in the state of Georgia, you cannot use your phone while you're driving if you're holding it in your hand. So it's going to be definitely a violation of the hands-free law for sure. In one sense, because he was supporting the phone with his body, and in another, because he was broadcasting a video. He said he wasn't familiar with it, but he did admit to it.